What if I told you that the biggest reason you cannot speak English confidently is not your grammar, not your vocabulary, and not even your accent? The real reason is something almost everyone does every single day while learning English. And the worst part is that most learners believe they are improving while they are actually staying stuck. Today I am going to show you the brutal truth about why English speaking does not improve for most people. Millions of people spend years learning English. They watch videos, memorize vocabulary, read grammar books, and complete exercises again and again. Yet when the moment comes to actually speak, their mind goes blank and confidence disappears. This creates frustration because it feels like you are putting in effort but getting very little progress. The truth is that the problem is not your capability. The problem is the method that most learners follow without questioning it. In this video, I will reveal the biggest mistake people make while learning English speaking, why it keeps you stuck for years, and what you should do instead if you actually want to start speaking confidently. The biggest lie in English learning. Most English learners believe one powerful idea that sounds logical but quietly keeps them stuck for years. They think that if they keep studying English long enough, speaking fluently will eventually happen on its own. So, they spend months watching lessons, memorizing vocabulary lists, and learning grammar rules in detail. This method creates the feeling of progress. Every new word you learn and every grammar rule you understand makes it seem like your English is improving. Your brain feels satisfied because you are collecting knowledge, but speaking confidence does not grow at the same speed. The truth is that understanding English and speaking English are two completely different skills. Understanding is passive because you are simply receiving information. Speaking is active because your brain must quickly organize words, form sentences, and express ideas in real time. That is why many learners can easily understand movies, YouTube videos, or conversations between others. But when someone asks them to speak, their mind suddenly slows down. Words disappear, sentences break, and confidence drops immediately. Think about learning how to ride a bicycle. You can read about balance, watch tutorials, and observe other people riding perfectly. Yet none of that prepares your body until you actually sit on the bicycle and start practicing. English speaking works exactly the same way. Watching and studying build awareness, but they do not train your speaking ability. The skill only develops when your brain repeatedly practices turning thoughts into spoken sentences. Most learners spend almost all their time consuming English instead of producing it. They listen, read, and watch for hours every day, but they rarely speak for even 10 minutes. This imbalance quietly stops their progress without them realizing it. So, the biggest lie in English learning is this belief that more studying automatically leads to better speaking. In reality, fluency grows from consistent speaking practice, not from endless preparation. Why most people stay stuck for years? The reason most people struggle with English speaking is not lack of intelligence or effort. The real reason is fear. Many learners are afraid of making mistakes, sounding awkward, or being judged by others when they speak. Because of this fear, they delay speaking practice again and again. They convince themselves that they will start speaking after their grammar becomes stronger, or after they learn more vocabulary. This creates a cycle where preparation keeps increasing but real practice never begins. Over time, this habit slowly builds a mental barrier. Your brain becomes comfortable understanding English silently but uncomfortable producing it aloud. When the moment comes to speak, Your mind starts searching for perfect sentences instead of focusing on communication. Another reason people stay stuck is that they practice English in isolation. They watch videos, read lessons, and complete exercises alone, but they rarely train their brain to respond quickly in real situations. Speaking requires immediate thinking, and that ability only grows when you actively use the language. Imagine learning to play a musical instrument by only watching tutorials. You may understand every technique perfectly, but your fingers will not develop the speed or coordination needed to play smoothly. Skill grows only when your hands repeatedly practice the movements. English speaking follows the same principle. Without regular speaking practice, your brain never learns how to convert thoughts into natural sentences quickly. That is why many learners understand English well but suddenly freeze when they try to speak. Another hidden problem is perfectionism. Many learners believe every sentence must be grammatically perfect before they say it. This habit slows down thinking and creates hesitation. In real conversations, communication matters more than perfect grammar. People who become confident speakers focus on expressing their ideas clearly rather than building flawless sentences. They allow small mistakes and keep the conversation moving. That mindset is what gradually builds real fluency. What actually works? If you truly want to improve your English speaking, the solution is surprisingly simple. You must shift your focus from collecting knowledge to building speaking habits. Fluency grows when your brain practices expressing ideas regularly. Start by speaking every day, even if it feels uncomfortable in the beginning. You do not need a perfect environment or a native speaker to begin. You can talk about your day, describe what you see around you, or explain your thoughts aloud. This daily speaking practice trains your brain to think in English. At first, your sentences may feel slow and basic, but that is completely normal. With consistent practice, your mind begins forming ideas faster, and speaking starts to feel more natural. Another powerful method is responding to questions out loud. Ask yourself simple questions such as what you did today, what you plan to do tomorrow, or what your opinion is about a topic. Then answer those questions in full sentences. This method forces your brain to organize thoughts quickly and convert them into spoken language. The more often you do this exercise, the easier it becomes to express ideas during real conversations. You can also practice by repeating and slightly modifying sentences you hear. When you listen to a video or conversation, pause for a moment and say a similar sentence in your own words. This trains your brain to actively produce language rather than only understanding it. Another important habit is speaking without waiting for perfection. Focus on sharing your idea clearly instead of worrying about every small grammar rule. When communication becomes the priority, confidence grows naturally. Fluency is not created by waiting until you feel fully prepared. It develops when you consistently use the language while learning. Every time you speak, your brain becomes stronger at handling English in real situations. The clear fix most learners ignore. If you want your English speaking to improve, you need to change one simple habit. Instead of spending most of your time studying English, start spending more time using English. The moment speaking becomes part of your daily routine, progress begins to appear. Create a small daily speaking system for yourself. Set aside 10 to 15 minutes every day, where your only goal is to speak in English. You can talk about your plans, explain a topic, or even summarize something you learned during the day. This small habit trains your brain to process English actively. At first your sentences may feel simple and your thinking may pause between ideas. With consistent practice, your brain gradually learns to form sentences faster and more naturally. Another effective approach is recording yourself while speaking. When you listen to your own voice, you begin to notice where you hesitate or repeat words. This awareness helps you improve step by step without needing constant correction from others. You can also practice by explaining everyday things around you. Describe what you are doing, what you are planning, or what you think about a situation. This method helps your brain connect English with real life instead of treating it only as a subject. The biggest change happens when you stop waiting to become perfect before speaking. Confidence grows from action. Every time you speak, even with small mistakes, your brain becomes stronger at using English. That is the simple truth most learners overlook. Fluency is not built through endless preparation. It is built through consistent speaking practice that pushes your brain to use the language every single day. So, here is the reality. You are not bad at English and you are not incapable of becoming fluent. The real problem is that most learners spend years preparing to speak instead of actually speaking. The moment you start using English every day, even in simple sentences, your confidence will begin to grow. Fluency is not something that suddenly appears one day. It develops step by step through consistent action. If you change this one habit and make speaking a daily practice, you will notice a huge difference in how quickly your English improves. Your brain will start thinking faster, your sentences will become clearer, and conversations will feel much more natural. So, stop waiting for the perfect moment to start speaking. Start today, start simple, and keep practicing every day. That is the real path to confident English speaking. If this video gave you a new perspective on learning English, hit the like button. Comment below and share the biggest challenge you face while speaking English. Share this video with a friend who is also trying to improve their English. Subscribe to the channel for simple and practical English speaking lessons every day. Turn on the bell icon so you never miss the next video that helps you speak better English. Thank you for watching. Keep practicing every day, and I will see you in the next video.